We're still in the teeth of this pandemic. In fact, January was the single deadliest month of the whole pandemic. We lost nearly 100,000 lives.
100,000 lives in 1 month. That was President Joe Biden at the White House earlier, his stark comments following grim words about the pandemic from a former member of the Biden transition COVID advisory board. This weekend, Dr. Michael Osterholm warned, quote, this, the darkest of the darkest days are yet ahead. And today, Dr. Osterholm is suggesting in a new Washington Post op-ed that vaccines alone will not solve this pandemic. Dr. Osterholm is joining me now. He is director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. Dr. Osterholm, thanks for joining us on this. Really appreciate it. Walk us through this, because you actually lay out 3 other things that must be done in order to end this pandemic. What is that?
Well, what we're really concentrating on are what are those things other than right now vaccine. And one is to understand better the variants, these viruses that are circulating around the country that have changed through mutation. We have a very poor system right now in our country for actually determining what viruses are in our communities, because we don't do the sequencing, that kind of testing, anywhere near other major countries of the world. And now the new administration is surely working to really step that up. But in some ways, we're flying blind. Do we have to be worried about these variants from England and from South Africa and Brazil and places like that, or even our own variants that might arise right here in the United States? I can say that the variant that we've been concerned about from the United Kingdom is here, and that's why I've made the comments I have about what I think is ahead of us, is I think that variant is going to cause a major surge in cases in the next 6 to 14 weeks. One of the other things we talked about in the op-ed, and this is a group of individuals that were originally on the Biden-Harris advisory board during the transition, is we need to really accelerate our work with drugs. We need to look at what kind of drugs that we can use now that will be more effective. And finally, we're going to need better vaccines. We know that the vaccines we have now are really good for what we've done in this first year, but as this virus throws more mutations at us, we're going to have to step up our game, and we really need to talk about second or even third generation vaccines that are going to help us get around these changes the virus happens to have when they mutate.
How do you step it up at this point, right? Because it seems like we're going to have to step it up when it comes to vaccine production, because there's no way we're keeping up at the pace that we are with the way that we're moving when it comes to the vaccine rollout. If you think about, for instance, the treatments, right, monoclonal antibody treatments, we know that is not readily available to all Americans, for instance, because of the lack of access. Do we have the ability to step it up in all of these efforts to make sure more people don't die?
Right. You're right on the mark. But what we have to do is break that down by time. I am concerned about the next 6 to 14 weeks. That's when I think this next surge is going to occur with this new UK strain. We can't, during that time, make nearly enough vaccine to even protect those of our citizens over 65 years of age where they're likely to have severe illness, hospitalization, and even die. If right now we continue on the pace we're at, even if we fast forward as much vaccine as possible, we're talking about at the end of March having 100 million doses, which is still at 65 days post-inaugural, not 100 days, but that'll only protect about 12% of the U.S. population. When we go into this surge, we're not going to have vaccines to protect us against it in the way that I wish we could and we surely need. So we're going to have Americans understand that the challenge we have right now is how do we ramp things back up again? That terrible concept of, and our public is so tired of it, is we're going to be shutting down things again. People can get angry at me for saying that. Look what's happened in the United Kingdom. Look what's happened in Denmark and Portugal, Ireland, all these countries that have been impacted by this new strain. The only way they actually stopped it was basically bringing everything to a screeching halt. Their hospitals were overrun. In England, the hospitalization rate there was so high that if that same hospitalization rate was to happen here in the United States, it'd be 190,000 hospitalizations a day, not the 130 that was our top. And so we're going to have to look at everything we can. Some of us have been proposing the idea that we actually postpone, not stop, but postpone the second dose of the new vaccines, because we think there may be enough data to say you'll still be highly protected during this time with one vaccine. Wouldn't it be great if we could double the number of people who have got even one dose? Because right now, a lot of people won't have any doses through this area. So there is a lot we can do. We just need to really put it together and anticipate what's coming.
And just a grim prediction here, there's an analysis by Bloomberg News suggesting that life will return to normal in 7 years at today's vaccine
I think we can do much better than that. I think we can do much better than
that. That's good to hear, and I appreciate you weighing in on that.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.